Good morning, everyone. Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I have been having a beautiful, lovely morning this morning working out here in the orchard. I did a little bit of weeding, I did a little bit of pruning, and a little bit of cleanup in preparation for what I wanted to do today, which was actually on my list for last week, but I'm getting to it now, and that is planting my bare root roses that I got from Windens. I got 3 different varieties. I got Iceberg White, which I love, and that is it's just the best. I used to not like iceberg roses because I felt like they were too common around here because everybody has them, and even like grocery stores will have them in their parking lots. But then I tried one in my last property and it's like, I get why they're so popular because they thrive around here in the hot weather. They're just a fantastic, fantastic rose. Totally disease resistant, beautiful, blooms all season long. The beautiful white flowers. They do have that iceberg in different colors, and I did get a different color this year as well to try. I've never tried a different color iceberg, so I'll show you that. And then I got one kind of like splurge fancy rose. I'll show you that as well. So here's my bare root roses. And they are technically bare root. They came bare root to Windens nursery, and then Windens stuck them in a pot and put some potting soil around them just to give them a really good start. And that is a common way that garden centers will sell bare root roses. And you want to get bare root roses because bare root roses are going to do better for you in the long run over the season. They will perform better for you. They'll be healthier. They'll be more disease resistant, et cetera, et cetera. I will link the video that I did with Aileen from Windens. She is so knowledgeable about this stuff, and she explained to us why bare root roses are so fantastic. You can see I already have some growth points going on, which is very exciting. I need to get these in the ground. Okay, so here's my iceberg. I got 3 of these icebergs. And again, these are just the classic. I guess, I used to call them generic, and now I feel really bad about that. They're classic. They're not generic. They're classic. So I have 1, 2, 3 of the iceberg roses. Then I have the brilliant pink iceberg. So basically the same plant, except for a different color. I know they also have one in red, and I'm excited to try it. I've never tried it before, and it might just be a really, really easy, no fuss rose that performs really well all season long, and it's just like kind of a piece of cake. So you can see this one has a whole bunch of growth on it, new growth points. And then finally, this is kind of my splurge fancy rose. This is called Romantica Ball Gown. This is a new one. I'm really excited about it. It looks absolutely beautiful. I don't know much about it. It says, up to 6 feet high. That's pretty tall. So that's beautiful. So I think I'm going to put these 3 together in the first part of the orchard where I was working over there. And then I think I'm going to put this one a little bit further on, further down in the orchard. So again, in the orchard, that is where I am doing my best for the West gardening. I am only planting plants that I know are going to absolutely thrive in my area. And all of these are going to absolutely thrive. Roses do really, really well for us. And I'm basically not concerned about these at all. I think that they're going to do great once I get them in the ground. So when it comes to planting these bare root roses, it's actually pretty straightforward, pretty simple. All you do is dig a hole about the same depth of the pot that it comes in, a little bit wider, and then you want to amend the soil and make sure it's nice and rich. Now my soil is pretty darn amended because I did the no-till method, and I have about 6 inches of compost on top of my native soil. So I'm doing pretty good here, but because Windens, the nursery that I bought these at, potted these up, there's a bunch of really, really good soil in with this bare root rose already. So I'm going to mix in this soil with my compost, and I think these roses are going to be so very happy. I also am going to put a little bit of starter fertilizer in just to make sure that the root systems, get developing really well. And then that's about it. That's all I'm going to do for now, until I start noticing about 3 inches of growth on the growth points on the rose. Once I see about 3 inches, which is probably going to be in March, maybe mid-March, I will start fertilizing. And my first fertilizing round, I'm going to do the Windens Magic Mix, which is magic. It absolutely is magic. I love it so much. I'll put the recipe on the screen right now. Basically what it is a little bit of Solpo mag, a cup of alfalfa meal, and then a half a cup of rose fertilizer. And you kind of scratch that in, and your rose is going to love you. I did it last year on my Eden rose, and actually I did it on my iceberg rose as well, and it was so happy. And then after that, I just start my regular fertilizing schedule. I usually fertilize my roses once a month. You can do about every 6 weeks, but if you live in a hot environment, make sure you stop fertilizing when it gets really, really hot during the summer. But I will remind you all of that because I will be stopping fertilizing as well. So let me lay these out where I want to plant them in my orchard today. Here's where I'm going to put the 3 white icebergs, kind of in like a triangle right there. And then my plan is that I want to put something purple a little bit lower here. These are going to get 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. So maybe something about 18 inches to 2 feet right in front of it, I think will be really pretty. And this is kind of where we walk to go into the front door. So I think that will be a really, really pretty sight. And then this Romantica ball gown, the really pretty one, this one gets 6 feet tall. So I have a feeling I'm going to want to underplant it a lot with a lot of stuff. So I think this one I want to put kind of way in the back, kind of close to there, although that's right underneath this olive tree. Maybe I'll move it over a little bit. So there it is right there. It's right in between that olive tree that's hanging over and then this one. I don't remember what that one is, but I'm gonna limit up and kind of trim it so that it's not covering. These aren't covering my area as much. Those are on my neighbor's side of the fence. So yeah, so in front of these are all alliums. So that I think will actually look really pretty if, depending on timing, if timing's right. If I have purple alliums in front of this pink rose, I think that will be gorgeous. And then I wanted to remind you all, right here, there's going to be a fence, a wire fence that I'm going to have probably like jasmine growing up. And then this is going to be a courtyard. Kind of, you can see where the compost starts. That's going to be outside of the fence. And then where there's still just old mulch, that's going to be the courtyard. So I'm, kind of imagine that when I'm planting all of this stuff. And then right here, there's going to be like this over portico with a gate and all that kind of stuff. So just imagine that when I'm planting this stuff. The fence probably isn't going to go in for another month or two, hopefully. And then you can see the flags. That is where the walkway is going in, and that will hopefully be in by the end of the month. So we will see. We'll see how quickly we get done with all this stuff. But I definitely wanted to get these bare root roses in because January is the time to get them in. Okay, I'm just going to place the last iceberg rose and then I'll get planting. right, that's it. The last bare root rose in the ground, that is Brilliant Pink Iceberg Rose, which I'm really excited to see how it does compared to the white iceberg rose. Like I said, I've only tried the white iceberg rose. I've never tried the Brilliant Pink. I have a feeling it's going to be very similar, but let's watch it this season and see how it does. So I only have one more thing that I need to do for roses today. Let me show you. So here's my Rise Up Emberize rose. It is a beautiful, beautiful orange rose, and I'm so excited for it to start growing up this tutor right here. So you can see it is the dead of winter. It is mid-January, and my rose still has leaves on it. And if you look close, there's actually some new foliage growing. So this rose is not in dormancy, or it's maybe in a very, very light dormancy. So what you have to do if you live in a hot environment like I do, that really doesn't get cold enough during the winter, you actually have to come in here and you have to remove all the foliage so that you can force dormancy. And it's good to remove the foliage anyway, because if there's any like funguses or you know, any bugs or anything that's hiding on the foliage or fungus on the foliage, you're going to remove that so you know that the rose is not going to have it the next season. So I'm just going to come in and I'm going to take off all of the leaves, and then I have to come in and I have to deadhead a little bit as well. This rose I just planted last fall, so I'm not going to do big pruning on this rose. I could take off some of the really weak branches, but honestly they're all really weak right now. They're not it's just not a developed rose yet. Usually for the first season, you don't, really the first 2 seasons, honestly, some people say you don't prune newly planted roses. I think it kind of depends on how fast your rose grows, because my Eden climbing roses, I definitely needed to prune it the first real winter. So I'm not really going to do any pruning on this rose this year, but next year I definitely will. But I am going to take off all the foliage, and then I am going to deadhead everything. Somebody is very tired and needs a nap as soon as possible. He is, yeah, he's being a little difficult. Okay, so all done. It's funny, once I defoliated this rose, so I planted this rose, it was not bare root, it was just in its can, and I couldn't tell where the center of the rose was, so I had the tutor like way over here. So I moved it to the center now, so this is a climbing rose, and it's hey, 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 oh my goodness, look at this baby. So it's a climbing rose, and it's going to climb up the tutor. And you can see I just took off all the foliage. I cut back some of the weak, like dead ends of the branches, and deadheaded some of it. I will have to come in here and kind of thin it out a little bit. But I'm not going to do too much since it is the first year with this rose. So yeah, that's done. I've got my other bare root roses planted, and he needs to go down for a nap. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.